Millton Vineyard was established on the banks of Te Arai River near Manatuka in 1984. It's where early settlers first planted grapevines in the 19th century. Now, in the 21st century, James and Annie Millton are still breaking new ground with their biodynamic vineyard.
When we first started, the organic and biodynamic was not really a big part of the consumer, the industry. It was sort of thought that it was all a bit strange and it wasn't taken very seriously. The wines were never labelled in the initial years as organic or certified because we felt that we wanted the wines to be drunk and marketed as top quality table wines. In the last 18 months, the biodynamic and organic has become, on the overseas market, a lot more interest. Far more people are becoming a lot more serious, especially it was first the organic and now it's the biodynamic.
Try that. Smells like wild bush honey, doesn't it?
Yep. No.
When we started off in the 80s, there was a great amount of conjecture from the industry at large because they felt that we were undermining what they were otherwise dependent on. There was pre-emergence herbicides being used and there was lots of insecticides and stuff. This was the same in the kiwi fruit and the avocados and so on. And now, like 26 years on, there is a whole raft of vineyards that are just getting involved in organic and even more so biodynamic. But the most exciting thing is that the industry itself is now adopting the sustainable role. You know, they're looking at the carbon footprint, they're looking at all sorts of energy that goes into it, they're looking at best practice, and by 2011, everybody's going to have to be part of the wine management plan. When you have a plant, the plant is connected to the cosmos, and the connection of the cosmos comes in through the earth and comes out through the plant and out expresses itself through the fruit. And if the balance isn't right, the insect then turns to a pest and moves on to the grass or moves on to the fruit or something like that and has this connection with what's going on outside there. So around the plant is this area which is called the aura of the plant, and it's the bees that fill up all that aura space. Biodynamics could be considered to be fringe in modern-day agriculture, but it's interesting that what we're seeing out there now is that agriculture is looking more at minerals instead of nutrients and health of animals instead of trying to control the diseases. It's interesting what my impression of what a conventional vineyard would be doing. And the first thing is that they must control all the weeds, you know. What we do is we plant flowers and flowering plants like this wormwood here and companion plants to try and attract a diverse range of insects. And we also don't use herbicides, so we mechanically weed. And when we mechanically weed, we put air into the soil to feed the microorganisms in the soil. So it seems to be that we want to do one thing and we end up achieving 6 or 7 other things. A conventional vineyard in this area would also spray a pre-bud burst insecticide against mealybug or leaf roller or things like this. And we don't do that. We spray things like seaweed and a nutrient to coat onto the outside of the grapevine so that it's more happy when the buds burst in the springtime. Because the conditions in spring can be a little bit cold, a little bit wet, a little bit windy, you know, it's breaking out of winter, coming into summer. A conventional vineyard as well, which just blows me away that they want to do this, will spray systemic chemicals into their grapes. The reason why it confuses me is because wine is made from the juice of a grape, and the juice of the grape comes from the sap of the plant, so I can't see any reason why you'd want to put a fungicide into the sap of the plant that will result in the juice of the grape. The whole picture changes because you're looking at the things that you can do positively to make the environment and the animals work better compared to what it is that you're going to control. So if you like, instead of having control, you have diversity and cooperation with what's going on. A vineyard is monocultural, and what we want to do here is plant grevilleas down the centre of the vineyard, like a hedgeway, so it stops the wind to a certain degree, but it's also a shelter for the birds. And grevilleas are attracted to tuis, and bellbirds are attracted to them, and they're very territorial. And of course we want to have what's called an insectory, where the birds and the bees are getting their nectar source, and they help balance the birds and the bees help balance the insects.
I think when you get a season like we've had at the moment, which has been absolutely superb, it's a great achievement for everyone to come to this point before we pick. And it's always exciting every vintage to make a new round of wines.
The Milltons are highly focused business operators. As James explains, you can't be green if you're in the red.